Welcome to video number 2 of the self-care series. So in today's video, we are going to talk deeper about ways to practice self-care and the benefits of each way. So first of all, let's understand that people who practice good self-care tend to really know what they feel and what they want. So being mindful about what you're feeling is what you want to start doing. And ways to do that is by writing things down. We have so many thoughts going on per day that it's hard to differentiate what we want, what we think we want, what we actually want, what people are trying to tell us we want. So writing things down in a journal is step number 1 for becoming more mindful and practicing self-love. A lot of us suppress a lot of emotions naturally just because we have so much on the go. We don't have time to deal with our emotions, but that is super unhealthy. So we want to start by journaling. For those of you who don't know what Clubhouse is, it's an audio-based app platform where people come together and you just get to meet new people, network, and the possibilities are endless. There's tons of people that go into different rooms and talk about things. And one of the rooms that I run is a self-love room. And this morning when I was running it, it's twice a week. On one of the days, we stick to it, and it is complimenting ourselves. So people come up and join the conversation. You have the option to just listen, but if you would like to join the conversation, you come up and you share something that you love about yourself. And it is so interesting, myself included, how hard sometimes it is to choose something that we want to say, I love this about myself. We either go through I don't know what to say because I either don't really like myself right now, or I feel inadequate right now and I'm not super successful right now. We don't feel good enough, we don't feel pretty enough, we don't feel smart enough. Sometimes we have that inner narrative and it affects the way we love ourselves. And if we can't truly love ourselves, how are we supposed to expect somebody else to truly love ourselves if we're not at that point? That is another reason why we practice self-love. So in this room, some people came on stage and they were having a lot of trouble finding things that they love about themselves. And that is why I do those rooms, and that is why I'm making these videos right now, is to spread awareness around this. It's an issue. We need to teach our kids how to love themselves, to have more confidence, to not be so anxious and feel imposter syndrome all the time and be anxious and stressed all the time. These aren't things that we want to pass down. So if we can start by changing ourselves first and working on ourselves first, being mindful and self-aware about self-love and self-care, then that is what we should be doing. When you practice self-care, you feel better inside. You then love yourself more. And if you love yourself more and you feel better, you make the people around you feel better. It reminds me of that TikTok. I think I'll insert it right here.
I just do, because I feel better. If I feel better, I'm nicer. If I'm nicer, my life goes better. Because if I'm nicer, then you're going to be nicer to me. And if I'm nice, everything runs smoothly.
Another great thing to do is meditating. I've recently picked this up. If you're rolling your eyes right now and you're thinking, I can't do that, it's just not for me, I can't sit still, I can't stop my brain from jumping around everywhere, that is because you're probably a person that needs it more than the next. People like you and I need to be able to calm ourselves down, to stop our speeding brains from thinking about everything, and control our emotions. It's people like you and I that need meditation the most. So I highly recommend starting with a few minutes. I've built up to being able to do it for 10 minutes right now, and it's really actually relaxing. I prefer to lie down. Sitting up is really hard on my back for some reason, cross-legged, so I'm starting by lying down, and it's very relaxing, and you focus on breathing. And if you really think about it, we come into this earth breathing. That is what keeps us alive, is breathing. And so often we forget how to breathe properly. We breathe shallow breaths of like anxious breaths. And that's not really healthy either. So there's all these little tiny things that we think are just, oh, whatever. But compiling them together, meditating, journaling, breathing properly, conscious breathing, being mindful of what we're thinking and feeling, and then in turn knowing what we want, is super important for our mental health and our self-love. Therapy. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, there is no shame in that. I think that therapy is like going to the gym, but for your mind, for your soul. We hire personal trainers to help us with our body and our fitness. Why can't you hire a personal trainer for your mind and for your insides? Highly, highly recommend therapy. That is another form of self-love. You are caring for yourself and what you have gone through as a person. Nobody else knows what you've gone through but you. And if you feel like you need to talk to somebody about that, not a friend or family member, a professional that can help you break through what you've been through, then highly, highly recommend that. That is, of course, a great form of self-care. Going for a walk is actually really underrated, I find. That is super, super helpful for blood flow, for the creative juices to flow, to have a conversation that you were nervous about having. When we go for a walk, our body releases endorphins like it does when we exercise. It also triggers a very positive feeling in the body. So that is a great place to talk to somebody about something, to phone somebody about something. It is just great. And it also helps you clear your head. You get some vitamin D. I'm gonna go for a walk after filming this video because it is nice outside and it's getting less and less cold and less snow. So we're very excited about that over here. Walking is a huge self-care thing we should be doing throughout our day. If you can, on your lunch break, go, on your morning break, go, in between, even if you go every couple of hours for 5 minutes around the block and come back, that helps productivity. It helps so many different things. So walking, great idea. Another form of self-care is reading, educating ourselves on things that are going to benefit us, learning things that will help us grow as a person, helping healing our childhood traumas. Reading is super, super important. So I'm talking, I guess, about personal growth books, but if you want to read something that is calming and soothing or entertaining, that is also a great way to wind down. Enjoy that. If you enjoy that, that is part of self-care for you. Of course, working out, we talked about walking and endorphins. Working out is not only great for mood, but for self-esteem, for confidence, for strength, body strength. So working out, we all know this though, but we need to schedule that in. We need to be active. We need to move our bodies. If I find myself going a week or two without doing a full forced crazy workout, then I will definitely move my body in some way, shape, or form. I will stretch, I will do abs, or I will dance. I will do something that allows my body to get the heart rate going and just do things that are healthy for the body. Another great self-care tip is doing things that are creative, putting the electronics away and doing something that's creative, whether that be something for me is cleaning and organizing. That may not be that creative, but sometimes you have to get creative when you're organizing something. You either take everything out, you clean things up, and then you put things back in a creative way that is aesthetically pleasing. So that's like my go-to. I also like to scrapbook and put photos together in little photo albums. So getting away from the electronics and doing something that gets the creative part of your brain working is really healthy. Hobbies. We all have things that we like to do for fun, things we like to do to de-stress. For me, it's dancing. With the state that we're in right now, I cannot go to my social dance events anymore, so I either put on a tutorial and I dance via Zoom with my friends and we do little choreographies. So doing things that make you happy, finding certain hobbies, de-stress, and again, we need to get away from our electronics. We are on them so often. Have you ever found yourself having like your computer open, your phone, and like the TV going in the background, and then sometimes just look at everything and be like, oh my God, like this is a lot. It's crazy the amount of stimulation and distractions that we have in our life. So it's really important to break away from all that here and there. Do a phone detox. I like to do that once in a while, and it's really great. I tell my friends and family, like, listen, I'm all good. I'll let you know when I'm out of my phone detox. Don't bother to like message me for the next half a day or a day, but it's really, really important. And as much as you think that you would be, what would you do without your phone? You could do a lot without your phone, and that's a healthy way of living. So highly recommend phone detox as well. I know I talked about cleaning and organizing as a creative outlet. That's what it is for me, but it also is its own category. So let's talk about that. We work better as humans when we are working in, or when we are living in a clean and organized, decluttered space. As much as some people don't like to do those things, you do function better when you live in a clean, organized environment. So that is something that maybe you have to push yourself. I know some people who really don't enjoy it, but you may want to push yourself and think of it as major self-care, because I'm sure you've noticed it is very different when your house is clean, when the floors are clean, when the counters are clean. Trying your best to live in a clean, organized lifestyle is super, super important. It definitely affects me. I cannot really function actually when the house is a mess, when there are things that need to be done that haven't been tended to. I really, really function better in a clean, organized space. So if that is something that you haven't thought of and you were wondering, why is my productivity low? Why do I not want to do anything? Why do I feel overwhelmed? Cleanliness does play a role in that. So something to think about. Now we're going to talk about ways to be mindful often. So being mindful is not always super easy for people because we are conditioned to kind of just go through life. But in order to practice mindfulness, the following are some tips. So having the journal by your bed with a pen, it's hard to not do it. You'd have to really just ignore it and choose to not do it if you choose. And some days I choose not to. But for the most part, I take that journal and I do my 5 minutes before bed. 5 minutes sometimes, 1 minute sometimes, 10, 15 minutes another time. So it really just go with the flow, go with the day to day, jot down what you're feeling and thinking. That is number one, because like I said before, people who love themselves and are living a happy, healthy life generally know what they think, feel, and want. So that is a good place to start, journaling regularly. Vision boards, whether it's a small little vision board like this that you have on your mirror or a huge poster, having things visually in front of you that remind you things that you want, things that you're striving for, or things that you love about yourself. It could be make a collage about you. Make a collage about different things in your life that you're proud of. Your house, your dog, your husband, your wife, your kids, your body, whatever it is. Give yourself that praise and that love every day, and I'm telling you, you're gonna think differently about yourself. Affirmations that are kind, powerful, gentle, loving, compassionate to yourself are huge game changers. I have a little piece of paper that I have in my car that if I'm having a rough moment or a rough day or a down moment, I have that in there and I remind myself to repeat those things. And I'm in the midst of changing up mine in my bathroom, but these are huge, huge. Compiling these together will really change your life. Change the way you think and feel about yourself. So it takes some time and it takes some practice to put them into practice. But affirmations, super, super important, because again, it all comes back to self-talk. How we think about ourselves is how we feel about ourselves and how we talk to ourselves. It can be a vicious circle if you're doing it in not a loving, compassionate way. So affirmations, great way to be more mindful about yourself and loving yourself. And the last thing that I'll touch on today is boundaries. So boundaries are a rough one. Boundaries, at least for me, they have been a rough situation. It has not always been easy for me to set boundaries. It is still not super easy. It is getting easier, but you need to say no to people. If you are living a life where you really, really care about hurting people or not, if you live a life where it really, really pains you deeply to offend somebody or hurt somebody's feelings, you need to learn how to practice boundaries, because that is probably making you suffer inside as a person. And we want to make sure that you're as happy and healthy inside as a person. So learning how to say no to things, learning how to say no and not feel like you have to justify, like, I don't know why we all feel, and we all feel it, that we have to say, it's just because I have like something to do after work and then I'm gonna be really tired and then I have to take care of my dog, and then we overshare and overcompensate for probably our own issues. So we need to learn how to say no to people, how to prioritize ourselves. If you don't want to do something, we need to not do it. It doesn't always mean you have to say no to things. Boundaries could be all different kinds. It could be shifting something in a relationship and you're setting a boundary and letting somebody know what you will accept, what you won't accept, or how you want something to go. It doesn't have to just mean saying no to things. I'm speaking from my experience. Saying no is really, really hard for me. So that is like the boundaries that I'm trying to set up. But it's boundaries as a whole. So if we can focus on really honoring what we want to do, what we don't want to do, that will really, really help. And that is amazing self-care. You're taking care of your wants and needs before other people's. So that is it for the second video in this self-love series. I'm super excited to talk about other ways to take care of yourself. And if you have not joined the Grow With Me family, please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button so that I know you enjoyed this content, and hit the bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.